Yes, we are. On chapter one of my book, Lion at Heart, Discovering Courage and Greatness Within, Walking Through Darkness. We are now on our 28th segment, and I am honored to feature this weekend our Lion at Heart Circle of Joy. Welcome to What About Your Story Saturdays. Everyone, please, walking through darkness. That is our topic. We all experience pain and suffering in our lives. As human beings, we want to avoid it, get rid of it, or even numb it. But we need to realize that God allows pain because our suffering is a sign of God's love. Pain is one of those things that reminds us always that all human beings are equal. The young and the old suffer pain. The rich and the poor are visited by it. Neither the great nor the humble are spared pain. Pain is one of experience that shouts our ears how human, how vulnerable we are, how mortal we are, and how much in need of others we are. Thus, the reason why we are here to share our pains. The world is wounded, and we are all walking through darkness. But we are here to let you know that you're not alone. And so, with that said, I would like to pass this on to our first Lioness Circle of Courage, Paulette Schnipke. Hi, Paulette.
Hi, Kai.
Well, take it away. It's all yours now. Thank you, and share your insight with all of us here.
Okay, we're going to introduce ourselves first. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to Lion at Heart. And everything's based on our book that we have here that Kai wrote. I'm Paulette Schnipke from Ohio. I'm married. I've been married for 52 years. I'm a mother of 3, grandmother of 8. And I was a former teacher, guidance counselor, and restaurant owner. And now I'm a health and wellness entrepreneur.
Hi, I'm Betty Pickard from San Antonio, Texas. I'm 70 years young. I have been married for 51 years. I have 2 grandchildren. 4 grandchildren. I also have a great grandson. Thank y'all.
Hi, good evening. I'm Rona Talusan from Hillsborough, New Jersey. I am married for 23 years. I am a mother of 3, and I am an IT professional working for a major financial firm.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Gigi Donahue. I live in Lakeland, Florida. I'm a single mother of 2. I've been a registered nurse for more than 30 years, and I have been in a management position in the past 20 years.
Hey, today we're going to be talking about chapter 1 from Lion at Heart, Discovering Courage and Greatness Within. Chapter 1 is walking through darkness, passing through pain. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of our faith produces perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work so that we may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. James 1:2-4. That's in Kai's book. Reflecting on that verse, I want to share with you a dark time in my life. My husband and I were encouraged by potential investors to franchise our award-winning barbecue restaurant. So in 2006, we invested, borrowed $750,000 and opened a second restaurant. We put everything we had financially on the line. In the first year of business, it exploded with $2.5 million in sales. Unfortunately, unknown to us, the computer system we purchased and had newly installed was not secure. We had no idea that the credit card processing was being hacked and our customers' credit cards were being stolen, remade, and sold out in California. About a year after we were open, I received a phone call from a sheriff from a surrounding county. He said that 10 of our customers had been credit card hacked, and we were the only common retail location for all their cards. we were horrified. We eventually learned that our customers' cards had been charged over $250,000 in the last 9 months alone. So we gladly cooperated with the FBI, the Secret Service, and the local police. The FBI determined that it was a group in California that was able to go into our computer through an open internet portal and steal the customers' cards and magnetic strips and even their names. Then the internet thieves made brand new cards and sold them in California. So thousands of dollars were being charged to our customers' credit cards. Even though the police, the local police, knew it was not our wait staff, for some reason, they released to the newspaper that it was our wait staff. One of the policeman's wives worked for Verizon, and she sent out a huge email not to eat at our restaurant unless people had cash, because she said our servers were stealing the credit cards. So business, of course, stopped, just came to a screeching halt. So, was a little rough. Sorry.
Take your time.
We feel very blessed that God took over. He sent us I'm just touched because I love this person so much. A very competent and honest IT security specialist. I still call him our IT angel. His name is Brian. And the computer company and credit card processor, nobody would help us. He was able to go in, close the portal, and that was open, and secured our computer and credit card processing. Thank you, Brian. And Brian helped us through all kinds of things. A credit card forensic audit, which cost us $10,000. And the only reason they did that was determine that the computer was not secure, which he had already discovered and closed. And then the credit card companies went through a time when they wouldn't allow any of our customers to use their credit cards at both restaurants, including our original location. So if somebody really wanted to eat there, they had to go to the bank and bring cash. So in 2006 through 2010, the credit card companies at that time, they held the merchant responsible for the credit card theft. They didn't blame the computer company that put the wrong computer in or the credit card processors. So our credit card processor started to become like the mafia. Seriously, they could do whatever they wanted. They were able to go into our business checking account and start withdrawing thousands of dollars at a time and saying, well, it's a fine for not being secure. There was no control over them, no stopping. And at one time, one day, they took out $35,000. So how many businesses could keep functioning without happening? So we were borrowing money, from our first restaurant to pay bills for the second, until it became very evident after 4 years, we just could not potentially lose. We were going to lose our first restaurant. And we thought we were going to also lose our home. So miraculously again, God led us to another amazing person. His name is John, who was a lawyer. And he helped us make a plan. And with that plan and very hard work, we were able to save our first restaurant in our home. So after 4 years of working lots of hours and fighting to regain our customers' trust, we just had to close that second location and let go of all of our staff. So during all the stress of this time, we still clung onto our faith. We continued to go through the darkness and came out on the other side. Still a little painful, but we still own our own home, which is paid for now. And we sold our original restaurant in 2019. When we retired, and just as Kai's book says, there is light after darkness. when that chapter of our life were closed, we were so grateful to be back with our family and be back in our little restaurant and just have time not to be fighting with all these, like I say, basically the mafia. So Kai's book, she reminds us that darkness comes to everyone, but there is always light after darkness. Okay, Betty, how about you? Is there anything you'd like to share?
Yes, Paulette, that is very touching. Thank God that God sends us angels like he sent you, Brian and John, to help y'all go through that and get it as much straightened out as you could. So thank God you have faith, because you can you imagine if you hadn't had faith? I mean, we all have to have it. It's the only way. Like I said in the beginning, my name's Betty. I live in Texas. I'm 70 years young. I have been married 51 years. I have two children and 4 grandchildren. 7 years ago, I decided to start a new journey after retiring from working with high school special ed students of 21 years. It was going to be helping others with better opportunity for financial support and much better health, which has helped us. I had a father that died at 57 that was very devastating for us, just suddenly at home. My mom was very young. I had a brother-in-law that passed away at 51. I had a sister that passed away at 65. So when my husband was reaching some of those ages as my father and my father-in-law, I thought, is he still going to be here with me? So it was very sad times for me. And I thought my sister and I would travel, and that's our plans that we were going to do. But God had a different plan for that. So after going through hard times, losing my sister, I really to do something different. I wanted to do something different in my life. So I just found this opportunity, and I've had so much fun at it. It has given me life. It has given me friends unbelievably. And I kind of felt like I was an orphan because I had no mother, I had no father or sister, and it was just the two of us. So getting involved with this, I created a lot of sisters and a lot of friends all over the world, including you guys. I mean, this has been a blessing for me. So when I saw this opportunity, it was just perfect for me. And in 2009, my husband had triple bypass. So I believe with all my heart, if he hadn't been on some of the things the opportunities that we have been experiencing the last several years, I'm not sure if he would have been here. So that has been a blessing. And he's 71. We will never stop doing this journey. It has led me to several better ways of life. And with God's help giving me strength, I am able to move forward with peace in my heart. During this journey, I met a wonderful person named Kai. She's an inspiring that has been through much more than myself. Believe me, she has been very inspiring for me. And in return, I want to be inspiration for other people. So despite my challenges that I've had, I got my strength from God and people like Kai. So at my age, it is a blessing to meet new friends and have people that are inspiring for you and believe in you. So thank y'all for getting on this evening. I'm going to turn it over to Rona.
Oh, Betty, I'm so happy that you're happy now. Despite your challenges in your life, you found strength in God, and you found new family, and you found an inspiration like Kai. You know, everyone goes through suffering and pain. When we are at the point of darkness, sometimes our faith and our hope get tested. It's hard to get out of it. And you feel like you are at a loss, but all you could do is hold on to God and let him carry your burden. When I first read Kai's book, I started crying in chapter 1 when she wrote about losing her father, Christina. I remembered the grief of losing my own father, Reynaldo. We call him Ama. Ama was diagnosed with a late-stage prostate cancer when my eldest one, Michael, was just 1. It has already metastasized to his bones. At that point, we were so devastated. We couldn't believe it. The doctor said if he had surgery, he could buy him 5 years, and it was still hard to accept. After his surgery, he had remission, and we celebrated. So he went back to the Philippines with my mom. But after a few months, his cancer came back so quickly, and we couldn't believe it again. So he underwent chemotherapy and radiation. After all his treatments, by the grace of God, he was able to come back to the US with my mom. At the time, I was pregnant with my second one, Angela. And he had his treatments here again, but his cancer his cancer went worse. He was in and out of the hospital getting blood transfusion. And it was a very trying time for me being pregnant and handling cancer in the family. During my breaks at work, I would go to an empty church and cry there so my family could not feel my pain, could not see me crying. And I didn't want Ama to see me crying because I wanted him to have hope. But I was not mad at God. I was just sad and I felt so hopeless. After a while, my siblings and I decided to take Ama back home to the Philippines while he could still travel, because we knew that Philippines is where he wanted his final resting place to be. So with my husband and my toddler son, we came back to the Philippines and brought him and my mother. After a few days, we had to come back, and I could not forget that day when he was waving back at us from the porch, because I knew then that could be the last time that I could see him alive. After a few months, I got that dreadful call from my mom that he was not waking up anymore. I knew then that it would be only a matter of 1 day or 2 days before he would pass away, because I was the only one who was always talking to the doctors here. So I packed my bags. Despite my doctor's warnings, I went and flew back home by myself, almost 8 months pregnant. And I trusted God that he would not let any harm be done to me and my baby. He waited for me. I knew he was in comatose, but when I saw him, I was not prepared. I whispered to his ear that I would name my daughter after him. All my relatives were there taking vigil, praying for him, and I would eternally be grateful for that moment when my relatives were there with us, supporting my mom and me. The next morning, early morning, my father passed away. He just waited for me and my brother who came from another province. And I was so thankful that I got to hug him one last time. And since I was the eldest one, with my mom, I had to prepare for the wait with her, and I had to be strong for her. But one by one, my elder siblings came home, and that gave me strength, especially at the funeral when everyone was huddled. You know, your grief is your own, but there's always strength in numbers. And when your family is surrounding you, you find the courage. So after a few days, I came back here, and in less than 2 months, I gave birth to my daughter. And when I saw her face, I felt pure joy. I couldn't imagine that I would feel happy after being in deep mourning. Of course, I was still sad for a long time, but taking care of Angela and Michael gave me the strength to move on. And so there's truly a light after darkness. But then you keep getting tested, right? You think you're over it and then you get tested. We had another tragedy in the family when my cousin, who was just in his 20s, got a car accident, and he was like a son to my mom. And I was heartbroken for my uncle and aunt. How could you go through losing a child? I couldn't imagine. But in 2009, my nephew, Ron Matthew, the only son of my younger brother, got stricken with brain cancer. He was only 12. He was only 12 years old. At this time, I was pregnant again with my youngest one. And we couldn't believe it. But we were very hopeful. After his successful brain surgery, we thought he would be well. But he got glioblastoma, a very rare brain cancer with very low survival rate, and it's only happening for adults. And to get that as a child, we couldn't understand. So after 8 months, we lost him. You know, everyone experiences death, but you couldn't understand why babies or children die, right? No one could understand that, but God has plans, and everyone has a purpose in life. Maybe Ron has fulfilled his purpose in his life at a young age, but all we could do is trust in God, and we know that his plans are always greater than our wants, and everything happens in his time, our lives and our deaths. That's all. I cannot say anymore.
Rona, that is actually a very, very touching moment in your life that we actually really feel. I felt it is very difficult when you lose a parent, especially when you're very close to them. And being pregnant is even more challenging because for all as women, we know when we're pregnant, our emotions are even heightened. And you fought, and you being the oldest in the family, I can relate to that because I am the oldest so as well. You had to be strong for everyone. And again, what happened to your brother's son, that is extremely difficult because really our child is not supposed to leave before us. Thank you so much for sharing that. In this chapter, again, Kai started to say that everyone feels pain. She actually said in the very beginning of that pain, she said that pain is one of those things that reminds us always that all human beings are equal. And that's regardless of age. It's not prejudice against our status in society, young, old. We all experience pain. And in that chapter, she spoke about what she went through from childhood through her adulthood and how she survived and how it made her stronger. I shared to some of you, or a handful of you, and many of us here are mothers. We know very well when a child doesn't feel touch, when they cry because they're hungry, or they're cold, or they're wet or dirty, or they just want to be hugged or cuddled. That child loses trust. When a child doesn't hear, "You did a great job," How was your day today? How do you like your new friend? You know, that was very hard, but you were able to be successful in it. Or just say to that child, you are enough. That child starts questioning, why is it no matter what I do, it's not important? Why is it nobody cares? Whether I'm hurt, when I'm sick, when I'm cold, when I'm in pain, that child develops low self-esteem. That child becomes insecure. When that child grows up questioning their existence, their importance, their purpose in life, from adolescence to adulthood, things becomes very dark for that child. That child starts to feel pain. That child continues to be insecure. And then that child says, Lord, let me ask you something. Why was I born? Why am I here? Doesn't seem to matter whether I'm here or not. Doesn't seem to be important if I exist or not. What is my purpose in the world? Why am I here? You don't hear an answer from God most of the times. He doesn't say anything to you when you question him. And then you start losing faith. And then you go to bed and you say, Lord, you know what? Don't wake me up tomorrow. Because that child now feels a lot of pain because nobody cares about that child. And that child is now an adult. What does it matter? Please, Lord, don't wake me up tomorrow. I really don't want to wake up. Every night that child goes to bed and say, Lord, please, don't wake me up tomorrow. I don't want to feel pain again. It's too painful. It's very hard to wake up and I don't want to go through another day. And that prayer is over and over and over. Every night, please don't wake me up. When I was 31, I had my baby, my beautiful baby girl. When she was handed to me, they just cleaned her up, handed her to me. And she had that look like she was, where am I? And all I could see is those rosy cheeks. And to this day, I can picture her. I fell in love with that baby right off the bat. And then I realized that was my reason. That was my purpose. That's the reason I needed to exist. Because I have this beautiful gift. Even if God didn't answer, that was his answer to me. This is the purpose why you're here. But of course, like you said, we are always challenged. We go back to that darkness again. And life becomes difficult. And then you say again, Lord, come on. Why do I have to go through this again and again? When my son was born in 2008, I was much older. He was a surprise. I was very stressed. I was in a dark place at that time. Again. But when I saw his face, when they put him on my chest, and I saw this little face, oh my God. A second time I fell in love again. And that's when God told me, this is the reason why you have to keep moving on. You have to keep moving on. Kai described exactly the struggles that she went through her life and why she kept that faith. And she said at the end, pain allows us to go to discover our inner strength. Pain makes us stronger. We learn from it. We become better people. And that's the reason why she said pain allows us to discover our inner strength.
Gigi, my heart goes out to you. I admire everything you've overcome and your courage and your connection to God, and that you have seen the light through your children. Awesome.
Thank you.
We're honored that you all joined us tonight. We're going to leave you with some thoughts from Kai's book, Lion at Heart, from chapter 2, Walking Through Darkness. And I'm going to read a section, then I'm going to tell you where you can purchase your book through. Then Kai's going to write to wrap it up. From chapter 1, we experience battles in life. That's the reason we are anointed. We are anointed by God to be an instrument to help other people, to bring them strength once again, to help others see the light and give hope. Battles never end until we pass, until we are called home to God. Let's share the greatest battles that we have so that others can also face their battles with strength. This book is a call to action to become a lion at heart during our darkest times. We become one when we let the battle be God's. And you can order your book, KaiHayes.com. I'm going to hand it back to you now, Kai.
What the heck? What did you do to me? Hang on a second. Oh, hang on. Whew. I wasn't I'm supposed to be your main host. I wasn't expecting this, you guys. Rona, Paulette, Betty, Gigi, thank you. Thank you for blessing our show tonight. Thank you for blessing me. Thank you for blessing our journey, movement. I never expected I'm going to be crying here. What you just said, all of you, just hit me hard. So in closing, you guys, life happens to all of us. That said, pain, strangely, is one of those things that marks our humanity. When pain enters our lives, it has to be welcomed. Our past experiences could truly shape us well. So never disregard your hardships, for they can prepare us mentally, physically, and emotionally to overcome the tough times in our journeys. We must be willing to walk through darkness, for that's where the morning awaits. Keep your faith. Don't let go of your faith. Let your battle be God's, and trust that He will pave the road for you. He did to me, He did to all four of you. God will bring you someone in your life to inspire you and give you that courage and help you find the strength back. And when you do, pay it forward. Be an inspiration to others. Look at us. We are purified like a gem. Let us help light this world. Thank you, Lioness, for all your beautiful, remarkable story. I hate you for making me cry today. I love you guys. I love this friendship that we have developed. Let's continue to light the world. You're gems, you guys. I love you. Thank you.
You too.
Bye.